sorry ass DJ.
You can get some.
It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Hi, Adrian. Adrian, why are you on mute?
That's why you needed to come back.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I struggled. I'm very well, thank you. Good holiday?
Yes, a bit poorly, but it was silly hot. Why do we go to these places? But yes, quite relaxing. Thank you. And thank you, and thanks Shane, and thank you Dawn, and Alan Tamblin as well for coming in the last couple of weeks. Much appreciated. And hello to everybody in the chat. Huh?
It's good to have him back. Yeah, it was nice, the shows, but I did miss my friend. So yeah. But the one with Shane got technical, so you wouldn't have liked that. He started talking about programs and stuff on his desk too. But and Dawn,
BBC One and stuff programs.
Dawn was the first person to sell Savoys in a chip shop up north. That was quite interesting. She's messaged me from Portugal where she's filming that film TV series as a detectorist, and she's already had 11 Savoys since she's been out there. She said they're nicer than our ones. They're more girth on them, she said. So Dawn's obviously enjoying herself. But yeah, and tonight we've got Darren Wills on, which I'm looking forward to. Wills.
And we'll be with you momentarily, Darren, who's in the chat room. I had some technical difficulties in myself for a change this evening, so I was a little bit behind getting the email over to Darren, but he'll be with us momentarily. So what have I missed, Adrian? What's been going on in the world?
It was hot for a little bit, really, really hot. That's about it. I've been detecting a few times. I've written the field test on the MindLab Xterra Elite, and look, you could have taken that on holiday with you. Look at that.
You know what? True story. I looked in the airport in WH Smith's. Wasn't one.
They sell out at airports because everyone, when they go away, they rely on Facebook and social media, and then at the airport, because I can't really do it on the plane, they get a copy of Treasure Hunting. I
only wanted it so I could bring it to the Rodney Cook and get you to sign it for me.
I've got your T-shirt
from the world's greatest field tester.
Yeah, and I'm currently doing the Deep Tech Golden Mask 7, and then we'll be followed by the Vortex, or at the same time the Score, which I'm liking it. But it's very rare someone brings out a detector these days, which isn't good.
He may be rubbish at jokes, but Adrian joins the team as one of the most experienced field testers in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about detecting,
I get to play.
Yes. Tech and MindLab announced a new coil for the Manticore this week. The MythTech 18-inch coil. That's going to be a big coil.
That's some girth, isn't it?
Yeah. So I will have one soon, and I will show everyone on the show how big it is if it fits in the screen, because it's going to be like that big. But I'm looking forward to having a play with that. That'll be available soon, but that's going to punch some power and also give you bulky arms. So,
well, if it's got a punch power, it'll take power, and that's why if you're going to get something like that, you're going to need something like this, the Power Knox plug-in power bank for it. The processing power plus the power of the coil is going to take some.
Yeah. So, what else has happened? I recharged the aircon on my little 4x4 detecting vehicle, which I'm very excited about and impressed about. Never done that before. Recharged an aircon. Did that. Took 5 minutes, and 25-year-old car has got aircon now. So when I go detecting, all fun. What else happened?
That lovely gentleman, Mr. Graham Dempsey's got a new product out.
It gets better than that. He brought out this, which he kindly sort of was talking to me about whilst developing it. So he brought out this, which is called the field kit. So you've got all your bits there when you go in the field on a handy key ring, which you can put a carabiner. But he's now combined it into a little pouch. So you can hang that on your thing and stick it in the bag and zip it up. So, yeah, it is really handy because I found a very small coin, David, when you were away. I think you were here with the Rutus Versa. I've forgotten what it is. James the First. Look at that.
God, that's little, isn't it?
Yeah, really little. And I found that 2 inches down with the new Rutus Versa coil. Quite impressed about that, actually. When you compare it to like a sixpence. Oh.
Wow.
That's very, very small. But yeah, found some other bits of took, nothing too exciting. We gave away a cleaning kit. You were here for that. Were you here? No, you weren't. Yes, you were, weren't you? No, you weren't for that.
No. You and Dawn spoke about that.
Yeah, we sent that. And Dominic opened his knocked a triple score that he won with his children the other day. Did you see that? He sent a message to us.
I
know you've got a lot to catch up because
I'll be honest. I have got a lot of messages to catch up with.
Yeah,
catch up with on the Book of Faces because I've been completely ran off my feet. And my plan on Monday was to hit everything big time, but as you know, my head was a bit befuddled on Monday. And Tuesday, I was just completely zonked and had to go to bed at 8:30. Which is also why I didn't ring you yesterday, because I forgot.
Yes, you did go to bed early. TC Detects Versa coil is awesome. Jim Panting. I used my new coil today. I probably won't use the same one again.
TC Detects.
Message me. I don't know what.
Can't I've messaged you. We've been talking about it all week.
Oh, prizes. Yeah. We won't. So yes, I've got to do some bits about that. Philip Wills, hi Philip. Must talk to you about the air detector. But I need to get a bit of money. Dominic, hi Dominic. Hope you're well. Jim Painting, Stephen Brame, hello. Ian Greenall, hey up me duck. Just hit 1,000 subs this week. Well chuffed. Brilliant. Well done. Steve Dunn, Nick Berry. Oh, hello, Nick. You've got to take a nice photo of me at Rodney Cook in a few weeks. I had
a fantastic photo this morning, Adrian. I've not shared it with you because I've been a bit busy, from Wayne Rowlands. Himself and Nick have been working together for the RCF. And fair dues, Nick. Fair dues, Wayne. Superb. So there you go. Look at Steve. Spanish is in the Spanish has usually got his grandson on a Thursday night, and he's not allowed on.
John Clayton, Simon Hadlow had an AUX for years, but now it's a different machine. Need to learn it.
Adrian,
yes,
going out with Spanish on Saturday.
Good for you.
Anyway, shall we bring tonight's guest on because he's waiting very patiently in the back room? I think he's got something to do with Wigan anyway because he's got a DW top on, so that must be Dave William.
Or Darren.
Good evening, Darren Wills. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Pleasure to meet you. And thank you for joining us.
No, pleasure to be asked. Thank you.
So, for those who don't know you, the viewers of the show, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Darren Wills. So I kind of now just dedicate my detecting to doing recoveries for people. And living in Bournemouth, you can imagine that's pretty busy place when it's in the summer. But now it just seems to be all year round. Never seems to be a quieter spot than they used to be. So yeah, it's just non-stop. It's like a full-time job. And though this is my workspace, I do work full-time in software. So I'm sat down all day, and then I go out and about, just helping people. So it's great fun.
And you know, Darren, if I'd known you 2 months back, I would have come and paid you a visit because I was at the International Conference Centre for a week in June.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have come and met you on the beach.
Yeah, I probably would have been there, I would have thought. There's not often I'm not on the beach.
Darren, you sort of have been doing this for a long time. What suddenly caused the BBC to show your what you do? Because you're on television the other week, weren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. So there was a story. Well, there was a silver necklace that I'd found for this chap, and he'd lost it on Bournemouth Beach about 3 days before, but he'd left it in a place where you wouldn't really go detecting. It's right by on Bournemouth Beach. There's a big zip wire structure. So where you land on the beach, there's a big structure there, and underneath it is like the workings and the underground, kind of fittings into the sand. So you wouldn't really go detecting there because of all the metal around it. But this guy had come out of the water, packed all his stuff up, and his rings and his necklace fell into the sand. So he searched for about an hour, and then he found his rings, 2 of his rings, but then he didn't find the necklace, which is odd because you think you'd find that first because it's much bigger. But he found the rings, and then they messaged me. His mum messaged me, and I went down there. I think it was about 4:30 on one of the mornings. I can't remember what day it was now. And I kind of found it there after about 10 minutes because I searched a bit of a wider area as well in case it got kicked around. But yeah. It was, and with all the other signals you're getting from the base of the actual structure, it was a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, just a bit of patience. A lot of it was done with the pinpointer after I'd got a good signal, and then just picked it out and as well chuffed. So I took it back to him that morning. So I messaged his mum, and then around about 6 o'clock, I probably dropped it off to them. And then it was when I'd kind of had a bit of a chat, and then is when I'd left. His mum had messaged me when I got home, and he said, when you left, he said, that man's like Batman. So that's where the whole Batman thing came from. It's quite funny. It's quite flattering, but yeah, it's just what he said. So then I was contacted by a media company who wanted to do a story on it, and then they did, and then the ITV got hold of it. So it was ITV News that ran the story. I think it went out to different outlets after that, but ITV were the ones that came and they said, we want to come and interview you. I said, okay, when do you want to do that? Well, this afternoon. I said, oh, okay.
Blimey.
So the whole thing from being contacted by ITV to finishing filming, they then have to edit it to go on to TV at 7:30 at night. That was all done in the day. It's incredible how they work. So I called my boss. I'm working at home. I called my boss and he just said, look, this has happened. They know what I do. They like what I do because we have like time for community stuff as well. So they kind of happy that it's like a community based thing. And one of my customers knows that I do it, and she's a London based customer. She loves it, and she tells all her kind of London friends about it and stuff like that. But I help people all over the country. They're not just people who come who are in Bournemouth. They're people from all over the country because they're on holiday here a lot of the time. But yeah, so that's why that whole Batman story came out, because that's what ITV went with, and it just took off from there, really.
It's weird one, Batman, isn't it? Because you'd think something sort of Marvel related. Not for me though. Batman is quite modern, but I still remember the late 70s Batman. Just look at it.
Oh, that's when I grew up as well. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Whereas it's a bit different now. So, how long have you been detecting?
I got my first detector in 2009, so that was after I came back from Rome. I've always liked history, and then that Christmas, August 2009, I came back. So in that December, I got one for Christmas, and I only had a Garrett Ace
What did you
250.
get?
Yeah,
Oh,
a
that's
Garrett
good.
Ace
At least
250.
it's a good brand. At least it's a good brand.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it's a good brand.
Wing
Yeah.
Wang Wong Super Turbo.
Yeah. But I did. It took me a while to kind of decide which one to get because I didn't know anything about them, so I was doing a lot of reading up about them, and I was on the Metal Detective forum online, which is like the forum version. So there's a lot more on since then. So yeah, I created the Bournemouth Detecting Club in 2011. And I was on the beach one day with my Gara, and some guy was just around and said, "Oh, I've lost my keys. Could you help me?" I said, "Yeah, all right." Didn't think anything of it. Never thought it would turn into anything like I'm doing today. And then that was it. And then I don't know, a little while later, I thought, you know what, I might just set up a website just to see if anything happens. And I started to I've got bournemouth-detecting-club.co.uk, and I got metal-detecting-services.co.uk as well. So I get contacts from everywhere. My number's all over Facebook. You know, people tag me on Facebook and stuff. So over the years, it's just become more and more. So, you know, it's the odd trickle of calls I used to get. And then, being honest, I was in a marriage then that my ex-wife at the time, she wasn't overly keen on me going out all the time. Yeah, another one, yeah. So I was always handing off to someone else to do. And then I started getting more and more and more. And then we just naturally parted ways. And then it became like literally that was my thing. I was doing it almost 24/7 for years. And then I met Amanda, married Amanda, and she's very supportive and, you know, puts up with what I do. But she's really supportive. She, appreciates what I do and why I do it. But yeah, and it's just got busier and busier every year. So it's literally is like a full-time job.
And you're up to quite an outstanding figure of fines returned as well, aren't you now?
Yeah. So I record the amount of people that I've helped. Because some people lose more than one item, so I'll also record how many items I've found for those people. There's a lot I don't find as well, so I don't go out there and find everything. And you guys know that it's not a quick case of go down there, pick it up and give it to them back. It's like you've got to spend hours doing it in the water and stuff. So I've helped 200. So I did last one last night. So I did 250. I've helped 253 people, and for those people, I've returned 273 items. That's so people have lost, like, yeah, the other day I thank you. The other day I found 2 rings for someone. There were 3, but I found out a message on Facebook yesterday that there was a third person that had actually found that ring previously, so that's why it wasn't there.
Right.
And then I found a ring for someone. But the funny thing was about that night, this was a Monday night, about 7 months ago, I looked for this gold pendant on the promenade and the edge of the beach, because the beach now is almost level with the promenade. There's no kind of wall anymore. So she was walking. So I searched back in January. It wasn't there. It's a massive area. It's like a mile each way. And when you're just searching your own, it's huge. And then literally I was searching for this third ring, went a bit out of my way, and I got a good signal, picked it up. I said, oh my God, it's the gold pendant. So I said, surely there can't be 2 of them. So anyway, I messaged her and I went, so ... And she went, you haven't found the pendant, have you? So I sent her a photo of it. She went, wow. Just because I was as shocked as she was, because I don't know why it was there. She wasn't even in that area. I think what happened is that in Bournemouth beaches and Southbourne, the tractors dig up loads of sand and move it along the beach because it really piles up, because they often dredge it from Isle of Wight Harbour. So there's too much sand on Bournemouth beach. It's ridiculous. So what they do, they get the tractors, dig it, and then shift it along to other places where it's probably less sand. And it was there. Literally, she's the luckiest person. It's one of her husband had given it to her for Christmas, and she lost it in January. And I returned it to her last night.
That's lovely. There's a lot of people in the chat. Jim Panting, it's a real buzz to hand lost
Adrian,
ring back.
Adrian
Painting,
right.
Sorry, Jim Painting. Jim Painting. So he's never seen so many people in tears, and it's true. A wedding ring or a ring handed down by your parents when they've passed away or something like that. It does have a little bit of very sentimental value.
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah.
Have you encountered that, people just breaking down into tears?
Yeah. So I've nearly done it
14 times.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so my kind of most, I suppose, memorable one and emotional one was this guy called Jordan Jenkins. He was on Bournemouth Beach practicing for the cheerleading festival. This was 6 years ago, and his ring he had on there. So he had one, his mum had one, and his dad had one. The ring contained his ashes of his younger brother. So his younger brother had died a year earlier, saving 2 girls from drowning in Nottinghamshire. So he's a big deal in Nottingham. He's got a road named after him, murals on the wall, big painting on the wall that's been commissioned. I guess he's got Owen Jenkins Drive, I think it's called. And he's the hero in Nottingham, and he's quite a big story up there. And his mum, in his memories, because he was called Owen, his mum has set up the open water education work in his name. So she does a lot of work now, raising awareness of swimming in open water. So, and that helps me because if I still search in a lake or anything that's, water based and you think it looks okay, actually you've got to be careful because the currents underneath, you're not sure what they're like. So I'm really aware of that kind of stuff whenever I see it. But yeah, so when I found the ring, it was about 10 minutes with my Garrett. And I think I borrowed a Garrett because my one, I think, was being repaired at the time because I'd got water in my X-Terra. So I borrowed a Garrett off a mate, and I went down there to find it in about 10 minutes. And I said, "Is that it?" And he just looked at me. I looked at him for about 10 seconds, and that's quite a long time when two blokes just stood there staring at each other. And then we just had a massive hug, and that was it. So I'd been called by the Marshall Court Hotel, which is the local hotel on the beach. And we
That's where I stayed. That's where I stayed.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, okay, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, they bought me the hotel bought me a drink and stuff, and there we had a chat and stuff. It was great. So his mum came down actually a few months ago to the R&Li building, the head office in Poole, which is actually just around the corner from where I would normally work. So I was invited to go to that. So I met her for the first time, and we had a tour of the facility around R&Li because his name was put onto one of the boats there, one of the new Shannon Range boats when it launched a few years ago. So I attended that and I videoed it for her because she couldn't make it down there. So I videoed it and sent her the video, and came down and met her for the first time. It was great. It was just that's what it's about. And last night's one was a chain for someone, and that was these orphan girls' mum's gold necklace. And it's just like, well, you don't think about them, you just get down there and you have a look. So that's why I do it.
Well, I was busy earlier downloading the news footage from the ITV from your timeline. So let's have a look at that.
You might have to turn it up.
Can't hear it, Dave. Dave? Can't hear it?
You can't hear it.
No. I think Dave's frozen. No. Dave, we can't hear it. Okay. We could. You right, Dave?
Yeah, the big thing. Let's try that again. Did it have any sound?
No.
Well, it has got a sound, but you need to turn it right up at whatever you're.
Yeah, well, let's try it. I'll try it another way in a minute. It's a technical thing with the bloody thing went at the same time. Right, bear with me and talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
How do you? I know you said you work from home and you sit in front of a computer all day doing software development and stuff, and it's a damn good job you got this as a hobby just to break you away from the screen. How many hours a week do you put in? Do you put in more if you get more requests, or what time? What percentage of time do you think I'm detecting for me?
Oh God! Oh, I don't detect for me.
Never for yourself.
Is that what you mean? Oh no, never. No. So I used to do the whole history farm detect. I've got some nice, old silver Roman, and I've got a few hammered coins, not too many hammered coins. But no, I never. I don't do any hobby detecting at all anymore. I don't have time because I'm either on the beach at 3 o'clock in the morning on the low tide. I'm out late at night. or I'm out early in the morning, like at 6 o'clock in the morning before work or weekends. I try not to fit in the middle of my daytime if it's possible. But sometimes, depending on where they've lost it, you just have to get down the beach if it's busy. Otherwise, people will turn up and take it and find it and keep it, which is what we've got to try and avoid. So yeah, I don't do any hobbies now detecting just because I want to go out. I do it because I get called out. And that's enough because I do that. I don't know how many hours a week, but it's a lot.
It must be. I was thinking about it earlier. It must be really sort of exciting in a way, knowing that there is something there, and you've got to find it. Whereas, when we go on a beach, a lot of it is predominantly trash, which you no doubt encounter. But you go in a field, you don't know if that field's got anything in it. You might find a hammer, you might find a crotal bell, or it might be full of shotgun shells. But if you're looking for a ring that's got someone's ashes in, it's almost like being on the war front, isn't it? You're just constantly driven, passionate.
Yeah, it's just like a different motivation. I used to do, like I said, I used to do the kind of history side of it. But in Bournemouth, the land is so hard to come by on a substantial, nature, because there's a lot of you've got the Malmesbury Estate, Drax Estate, you've got Merrick Estate, all owned by kind of lords and that kind of stuff. So it's really hard to get significant amount. We had a farm in North Dorset, and then we kind of did that to death. Went about probably 15 odd times, and then the farmer died. His wife died, and then we kind of didn't go for a few years, and then I kind of, I suppose, people got their own land, but as a club we don't really have any land anymore because we've done that one a lot, and it's probably been done by other people as well. We've had some good finds there. But then I started doing this a lot more, and this was now becoming my motivation. That's why I purely do this side of it. But people, we've got a lot of people signed up to the club online over the years. So people go off and do their own thing and sometimes post what they find. But for me, it's around the recovery. So I changed the name of the club really to Bournemouth Metal Detecting Club and Free Recovery Service, because that's really what it's become. And it's known as that around the Dorset area. I get tagged in. I'm in about 115 different community groups across the area, because people tag me and invite me to groups because people have lost stuff and I'm not in the group, so they tag me in it and stuff. So it's you've probably been asked this 1,000 times. What's your weirdest ever request and location or find? There's children watching, possibly. So I've been asked to search a dog. So this lady had lost her engagement ring, and she wasn't sure whether the dog had eaten it. This was a day before she messaged me, so I said, well, you better get round before nature takes its course. And I did a quick scan. It wasn't in the dog, and then she just found it later separately. So that's what happens a lot. And I found, it's just the standard stuff like washing line brackets, and I did a bird feeder pole, just where a bird feeder, it's a bit like a washing line bracket but for a bird feeder pole. But annoyingly, my kind of my actual 200th person that I'd helped was, and I wanted it to be something really special, but it turned out it was like just a carving knife that she'd been cutting some dog meat with, laid on top of the bushes at the back of her garden, and then it fell into the bushes. So I've got a really good photo of me in the bushes with my head torch on, and just like I'm being illuminated inside this bush on my hands and knees with my pinpointer, and I could see a glimpse of the silver with the head torch, and I came out with like little stabs and pricks all over me. But I found the knife, so he's well happy.
But
for me,
well, listen, I've actually found it another way.
Well, I've also sent you another one. I've sent you another one with a bit more sound, hopefully, on Messenger.
Right.
I did re-record it with a louder volume, so hopefully that might work. But
all right, talk amongst yourselves again, and I'll do that way then.
Yeah, because I did wonder that, because if that was me with a knife, I'd just say, "Oh, when the autumn or winter comes and the leaves are gone, I'll have a look. If not, I'll go and buy another one." But so it's predominantly, it's just on the beach you detect, but unless someone
beach, gardens, parks, you need, obviously with permission from Bournemouth councillor, kind of okay. Sometimes it's a no, sometimes it's a yes. Durdle door, I've been declined 3 times and approved once at Lulworth Cove, because that's owned by the Lulworth estate. So I was down there one time and didn't find the ring, but I said I was going to be there between sort of 4:30 and 8 o'clock. So that was my deadline. That's the time I was given to be there. And then it's a bit freaky down there at that time as well in the pitch black. At that sort of time, surrounded by like rocks and mountains and stuff. And but one of the workers in the office was walking his dog at 5:30, just coincidentally, or maybe just checking up that I was just on my own and not there to pillage the land of treasure and stuff. So yeah, he was walking his dog, and he just said, "Oh yeah, I know who you are. We've seen the emails and stuff." But they've refused me 3 times, which is a shame. I get it, because it's obviously, UNESCO site. Yeah. So I keep asking, and they'll either agree or decline it for that one, unfortunately.
I think one of the biggest problems with things like that is when someone sees someone doing it.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like, or they phone the police, and then it all goes wrong. But yeah, I mean, beach detecting. Going back to, there was questions that came in on the chat. I think one of them was from.
Just bear with me a minute, mate, Adrian.
Stephen Brain. Oh,
let me just play this. Somehow.
In the public with treasured items they thought they'd never see again. Our local trusty metal detector, Darren Wills, has helped locate keys, phones, and jewellery where he lives in Bournemouth. He estimates he's helped more than 200 people, and all without charging a penny. Sam Holder went to meet him.
Searching for buried treasure with his daughter. Unlike most detectorists, what Darren looks for has almost no financial value. But what he finds can be priceless. For a decade, Darren has scoured the sands, helping people find things they've lost. And he does it completely for free.
Describe to me, when you find something that someone has been searching hands and knees for hours for. Yeah, it's euphoric. Because when I speak to them before I go searching, they're in tears, they're devastated. You can tell it in their voice, and when you see them, you can see it in their eyes. If I find it, then it's such an elation, and it's such a it's just a euphoric feeling.
So far, he's found items for 239 people, many around Bournemouth, where he's based.
It's not just a hobby that I do. Detecting has almost become a service for people, and it'll always be a free service I do.
Those he's helped call him a hero. Some even a local Batman. Although slightly less violent. Ella lost a ring given to her by a family member. Her mum found Darren online.
Within 2 hours, he was down the beach having a look. And yeah, we got a phone call, didn't we?
Yeah.
And screamed.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd find him.
Screamed down the phone, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes true treasure isn't in monetary worth, but the sentimental value. Sam Holder, ITV News, Bournemouth.
Oh, nice one, Darren, right there.
How nice.
And you know what? The best thing about that was, Adrian, the fact that we don't have to pick up that his swing's going like that. It was all level and it was all nice.
Yeah.
And it was the right height and everything.
I don't think Darren would have found as much stuff if he had a bad
I do
swing.
see people doing that though on the beach, and I think, how do you find anything doing that? It's just ridiculous.
I don't. It triggers me. It really does. I think, especially when they're holding it like a manticore, they've spent nearly $2,000 on a metal detector, and they're going like that.
All right, mate.
So on that part of the beach, so that photo that he showed on the thing just then of me holding the ring, that photo has been turned into mural on that bit of the beach.
Really?
So there's a mural of me on the beach in ceramic tiles that an artist just did without telling me. And I was told he just picked a random photo. It happened to be one that I found a ring for Tracy and Ella. And then the guy who tagged me on Facebook said, "Have you seen this?" I said, "No." And this guy I found a bracelet for just the other side of where we were filming, a necklace for. He tagged me and said, "Have you seen it?" I said, "No, I haven't." And I looked at it and I thought, that's me. And I knew which photo it was based on. And it's quite a surreal feeling. I feel quite proud of it, but it's just, I go down there. I was down there yesterday looking for something. I just looked at it and go, that's me. Why am I on the beach? and he just cemented it on there. And then the echo, because I took a photo of it in case the council took it down, because you know what councils are like when street artists just put random stuff up, a bit like Banksy. He just does it. This guy just does it everywhere and puts stuff up. But I thought it was a painting at first, but it's actually tiles.
Wow,
it's incredible.
That's not a
it's incredible
simple thing, is it?
You just see that Banksy last week. He done 7 Banksies last week. One of them he done on a satellite dish, and someone robbed it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw your daughter with you, Darren,
yes,
on the television clip. She must be proud of her dad, getting all these people sort of in.
They do make a bit of fun of it as well sometimes. Like, are you looking for a ring again? But my son, my daughter. She's got a twin brother who didn't want to come. So I'm looking for the picture. He didn't want to come, but now he knew she's going to be on television. I saw her on TV. He did want to come in the end, but it was.
You need to get a League of Gentlemen T-shirt printed now. I'll find your ring, Dave.
Yeah. The only downside I have on beach detecting for me, apart from there is a lot of junk and trash that people leave, which really drives me up the wall. I mean, it's so much rubbish. People just think if they bury it, they're doing everyone a favour. But it's the amount of nutters on the beach. Do you come across just people who constantly, like you said, you go down there at 3 or 4 in the morning, you must get a lot of people who are lonely, a lot of people who are drunk, a lot of people who are on drugs. It is like a bit of a magnet for that. Do you quite often have that?
Weirdly, I don't get that. No, I've had one guy who was a bit annoyed that I was there because he was fishing, and I got down and thought, why are you? Obviously, people fish. That's when they have to fish sometimes. And I think, typically they got the whole 7 miles of beach, but I need to search for a ring, and it's where you're fishing. But no, he was there first, so I just politely said, look, I'm just looking for a ring. I'll try not to hit your line and stuff, but I wasn't deep in the water affecting where he was fishing. I was just in the shallows, so I just wanted to let him know that kind of I was there. I can't see him with my head torch anyway, but yeah, it's just sometimes it's the way it is. Sometimes someone's right on the spot, even if the beach is quiet, there's someone just right there. But I never get any hassle off anybody. I know some people do, but no one approaches me and says, what you doing, give us that or whatever, or you're trying to steal from the land and stuff. Everyone's normally pretty polite in the daytime, and at 2:30, 3 in the morning, I quite like the loneliness and just get on and do it and get your head down and get on with it. I've just found that picture that I sent to you, Dave. Can I just show it to my camera? Just to show
I'll bring it on screen now.
You'll bring it. So the mural was based on the photo that guy did. And I look at it and I smile if I see it on my phone. I just think it's like, and it even looks, as soon as it just looks like me, I think.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's really good, yeah.
So I knew straight away which photo it was based on, and it's just incredible to see that still there. It's mad.
Let's just hope it doesn't get covered by a phallic symbol after the school summer holidays.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be all right. Dog peeing against it.
Yeah, how high is it off the ground?
Not too high. So it's about 3 foot. So the wall kind of tears from the top where there's a bit of a fish painting, then it goes down, and then it's about probably 4 foot off the wall in total. It's in the middle of that, and then it's as you leave the beach, going back up to the zigzag, back up to the car parks and stuff. So a lot of people will pass it every day because Southbourne Beach Fisherman's Walk area is one of the busiest beaches. In high temperatures and middle of the season. So it's crazy.
All right. I think just going back to one of the questions someone asked, I've forgotten who it was. I think it was Stephen Brame. He asked because he was on the news a few months ago or last year. He found a medal and returned it to a family member that he found, which was nice. But one of Philip's original questions was, what machine do you use? And you obviously started with the Garrett Ace, and now you've got a Mine Lab.
So between that, I went to an Xterra 705, which I bought off someone in the club. And then I went to, I think I went from that to the Mine Lab 800, the Equinox 800. So I've got all the coils for that. So I've got the 15, the stock 11, and then I've got the 6 as well. And then I've got the Manticore. I've had about 4 months, 3 or 4 months. But it's a whole different game. The Manticore is completely different. It all sounds are different. The settings are different. So I'm almost trying to learn it all again. So I take them both out intermittently, depending on what I'm searching for. So I've now got the 15-inch the stock coil for the Manticore, and I've got the 9-inch now as well. So because I do a lot of garden stuff as well. So where sometimes the 6-inch is better. So depending on what I do, I kind of just sometimes take them both out, and I'll decide what I want to do when I get there.
I thought you said,
but try not
get between the sandcastles.
Yeah,
yeah,
easier between the children's legs, knocking them out of the way.
Yeah,
Easy
I
now,
mentioned
mate.
earlier.
But I use a 15. Yeah, I use a 15 on the beach because I need the coverage. Because I need to get a massive area covered in a short space, the shortest space of time possible. So, but I could cover a large area in 3 hours.
If you're not sponsored by anyone or anything,
No.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was a distributor or Mind Lab watching? They could get Darren the new 18-inch Myth-Tech coils from Coil Tech. Wouldn't that be nice, Dave? If someone could send him one, because you do YouTube, don't you, Darren?
I've got a YouTube, but I don't. It's mainly on Facebook. I'm going to start. I keep getting pestered on Facebook because all the local community say, why don't you start TikTok, or why don't you start doing a YouTube channel? I have got a channel, but I don't really use it. But I posted that ITV News video on TikTok, and my normal videos have about 1,000 or 500 or whatever. That video had 65,000 views, I think.
Yeah. I think TikTok's the way to go on something like that. And you constantly haven't got people messaging you on it, because the average person our age doesn't know how to message on TikTok.
Well, it took me a while to figure out how to upload the video.
Or don't know how to use TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, TikTok's going like that.
Yeah, but I do need to start recording kind of the recovery and stuff like that, because I think that's what people want to see. They don't just want to see a photo of me holding it. But so I've got the iPhone kind of strapped now around my chest and stuff, where I did have the little GoPro style thing, and I think they're a bit clumsy to use and it's not very good quality. So I just bought the strap for the iPhone. I'm going to start. Oh well, I say I'm going to start to do it. The reason I don't at the moment is just I need to get down there and just go on and do it. I think I have time to get it all set up and get the angles right.
Edit it when you get home.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just so yeah.
I mean, if you did one a week or something like. Yeah, I suppose you could do the humorous ones, couldn't you? Talking of humorous, rubbish on the beaches, I think's got worse for the last 20 years. Definitely got worse. I don't think people or kids have been. When we were growing up at school, in the summer holidays we'd have adverts on telly, telling us like Green Cross code, man, and also to put your rubbish in the bin. Keep Britain tidy. Yeah. And now everyone just. Stuff. I mean, what's the biggest sort of pile of junk you found on the beach that someone that's
Bournemouth Beach? Bournemouth Beach after a summer's night is like Glastonbury the next day, leaving tents, towels, trainers, bags, just literally just crap just everywhere across the beaches, and these poor beach attendants walking around with their black sacks filling up, basically litter picking, just picking up all their crap. And I do what I can. I always, if I find stuff. When I'm detecting, I always take it away with me. I've got pockets full of, bottle tops, because they sometimes give such an amazing signal without if they have the little grunt in it, it's one, but you think, I just want to dig it just in case. So you end up taking these rusty old bloody bowl tops back with you as well. But I just stick them all in the bin and spend a few minutes doing that. But yeah, I always take away anything that I pick up out of the sand that I dig.
So I don't know where Adrian was going with that question when he said humorous, but what's the most humorous thing that you found on the your escapades?
Oh God, humorous. I don't think I found anything particularly humorous. I mean, obviously toy cars and stuff, which is normal. No, I've looked for some false teeth, but I didn't find them. That would have been good.
No bunnies of any variety?
No, I've not even come across it. I've seen some on the beach, but I've not been asked to search for any.
Talking of bunnies, hello, Phil Fodder. I've still got a present for you.
Oh, Phil Fodder. John Clayton and Jelly, the metal detective, they've said disposable vapes. Yeah, I mean you see them by the side of the road, and those gas bottles. They all have those.
Oh yeah, the laughing gas bottles. I think they're banned now. I think, aren't they?
What the gas bottles?
Yeah, I think they're banned them or trying to ban them.
Oh,
because you literally find them in piles of like 20 to 30. You never find one or two. You find literally bundles of them together.
Yeah.
I actually found a catering bottle of one in the middle of nowhere. So obviously they've been upgraded to catering from the miner.
Yes, yeah. They used. I detecting last year. I saw some big gas bottles chucked in the field, huge ones, like 500 whatever. I can't get my head around it. But yeah, your wife or your partner, she's okay with it when you literally like, oh, we're going out for dinner tonight with friends. No, I can't. A man's lost his prosthetic ankle and I need to find it. Or,
Well, we've been out tonight actually for my stepdaughter's graduation results day for A levels.
Oh, A levels.
So
she do all right?
just got back. Yeah, she did really well. Yeah, she's got an A in psychology, 4 marks off an A star. She got an A in English and a B in biology, which is 4 marks off an A. So she's doing law at Southampton University, Southampton Solent. So yeah, she's got what she needs. So that's great. So we just come back from that. But yeah, no, we always plan things, and if it's planned in, then we will do what we're going to do. And I do, take her out, especially because of how supportive she is of it as well. I even had one lady who insisted on buying us fish and chips because I didn't want any money off her. I'm not going to take any money off you, but she said, I want to buy you some fish and chips so you can have a day out. So I said, okay. I said, but she also wanted to buy me coffee and ice cream when she comes down. I thought, okay, that's fine, but I'll buy you when you're visiting again. I'll buy you the coffees and ice cream when we go out and meet you to say thank you, sort of thing. So, I think people sometimes can get offended if you don't accept sometimes I not even helped her. She was just someone who's followed what I do on Facebook and just messaged me and just said, I'd like to do something for you. I've had a guy who's provided 2 t-shirts for me. So this t-shirt I've got on, it's got my logo. He's put the logo on the front and back, and he just said, I want to give you a couple of t-shirts as a thank you for what you do for people. So that for little things like that for me, I quite like those little things. It just shows that people appreciate what I do.
Yeah, I think that's why if I was be nice to sponsor you. Not saying you have to wear a certain brand over your top or anything, but if you got given, because you're doing good. You're doing good for the community. And,
I know it's a different side of it, and not everyone does like it. I don't think, because it's like, well, I do it anyway. A lot of people can say that, but that's all I do. That's my part of detecting, and other people have their side of detecting. This is what I do with it. So I think
I can understand though people, because God forbid if I lost or my wife lost a wedding ring or whatever, and I wasn't a detectorist and I got someone to do it, I'd want to buy them a drink or take them out for a meal or to get them. So you must get a lot of that from people.
Yeah, I get when people come to collect their rings. People are the longest person someone's driven is 2 hours down to come and get it because he didn't want to get lost in the post, and he was so grateful to find it that I got like a drinks voucher, and I've had a limited edition bottle of rum from a guy from London, police officer, bottle of Kraken, to say thank you, and more kind of restaurant vouchers type thing.
Yeah, no.
I just read Wayne Atwill's comment. Can we read that out, Adrian?
Oh. Found a dinghy once and loads of life jackets next to it. Asked the people near if that was theirs, but none of them spoke English. Oh dear. Oh dear. Got to be careful how we talk about things like that after the last couple of weeks, Dave.
That's why I didn't read it out.
Oh.
I'm a card.
Thanks. Cheers, mate. But yeah.
You're all going off in Chelmsford tomorrow.
Has anyone got any questions for Darren? I think we've. You haven't asked Darren many. What have you got a question for him, Dave? Like, how nice is the hotel that you stayed in, or?
It's dated, but it had a pool.
It is dated, yeah, you're right. It is, but it's Bournemouth, so it's literally probably £200 a night, I would have thought, and it just hasn't changed over the last probably 30 years. And it's the same with most of them.
The best thing about it was it's obviously been there going way back to when it was military hospital and before that, and they've got all the historic photographs going all the way through the ages down one of the corridors, and that always interests me looking at stuff like that. And I think there was a few flyers as well with the history, and I enjoyed that, to be fair. I think I saw most of the time was in either the hotel or in O'Neill's, probably.
Yeah. But because of the location of the hotel, I don't think they really care what it's like inside, because people are going to stay there.
Yeah,
it's literally top of where the hotel is. You've got steps down to the beach, so it's just there. So it's
really nice.
Yeah, it's easy to
Have you lived in Bournemouth all your life?
I've lived here for 42 years. So I lived up north in Rochdale when I was my first 10 years of my life. So yeah, I've been down here most of my life. So I'm still a northerner at heart, I suppose. Yeah.
No, I don't think he is, Dave, because I can understand everything Darren says. And Darren, I think, understands me. Going back to your detecting with your Manticore and prior to that, your Knox, did you have your own settings that you preferred, or did you pretty much not deviate too much?
No, I've got both still, and I don't go into all these fancy settings because of what I do it for now. I don't need to, because if it's going to be gold on the beach, it's going to be pretty much that far underneath, or it's going to be in the water. So I'll do my water settings, but I don't generally do my own kind of personal settings under F2, T2, whatever it is, and do all these different things. I just, if I'm in a field, I want to look for specific things, then maybe it's something I'd look at. But for me, I'm looking for gold in the sand, and the basic the wrong setting would find that. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really, it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, no, I try not to deviate too much from standard.
I've got a couple of questions for you, Darren. The first one from Jelly Morgan, the metal detective. I joined late. What are Darren's social media channels pages, please?
So Bournemouth. Well, yeah, Facebook is Bournemouth Metal Detecting Club, and you'll find it from that. I've got Instagram, which is Bournemouth Metal Detecting. Very, very what do you call it? Interesting name. Then I've got my YouTube channel, which I don't really use, called Rings and Things, which is what my
Adrian had a channel on YouPorn, exactly the same name as that.
So that Detective Club logo you've got on your screen there, I've had it changed slightly, so it's now Rings and Things on other tops that I've got. So I've just changed the logo slightly, or had it changed slightly, just to incorporate that side of it as well.
The Dark Knight Detective asks, question for the other Batman: how often are you out during the week?
So I've been out every night so far this week, apart from tonight. So came back from holiday on Sunday night, 11 o'clock, and since Sunday I've found 6 things for 5 people.
Fantastic!
Wow.
So yeah, it's just so when I was on holiday, I was getting requests, so I was passing those on to John. Some of you probably know John Rodwell, but because of the kind of locations of where some of these things were, and I don't think any of them were found. So just lucky that I got back and got some that were, in the locations where they lost them. So yeah, that's what it's like. I've got probably one tomorrow night, probably late Saturday afternoon. I've got another 2 gardens potentially, but they don't know they're there. They just want me to check. A lot of them just want to check that it's not there, so they know not to think about it anymore. Where I think the difficulty is that people don't expect to have to go home from their day at the beach and think about where they were, what they were doing, where they might have lost it. They get home and think, oh shit, my ring's not on. And then they think, oh, what was I doing that day? And they're sometimes trying to tie them down to a location can be quite difficult. So I grid up as much as I can for them.
There you go. Adrian's already done it.
Darren, this is a question from Wayne Atwill.
Yep.
Does your machine behave differently on the beach in certain weather conditions and tides?
No, I haven't noticed it. So I go. I've been in the pouring rain, storms, and I've used. This is when I had the Equinox 800, and that just behaved as it should do. I've never encountered any issues with it. Or when I'm in the tides, it's done what it should do as well. So I've never found it falsing, or I did with the Garrett. That's why I got rid of it, because I couldn't do the beaches because he's just falsing the whole time. Well, the wet sand in the water anyway. So when I got the Nox and the Manticore since, I just love being in the water, because there's also a great sense of feeling when you get something from the water, because they're always difficult ones to get. So when you get them out of the wet sand or in the sea, they're the ones that are pretty special. But I've never noticed them behaving any differently in there. No, not at all.
Thanks for that. Steve Cord, hello Steve. He's a lovely guy. He does beach detecting in his local area.
Yeah, he does.
He is a nice guy. He won a Nocta Legend on the show. Yeah, he did, didn't he, Dave? Yeah, he won a Nocta Legend on the show. How far does a gold ring travel in the tide, or does it stay roughly where it was lost on average? Very good question, Steve.
Yeah, good. I get asked a lot. And on average, it pretty much will almost stay where it is, within a few meters potentially. So a lot of the rings I find are generally within, because I search. So if they lost it here, I search probably 20, 30 meters either side of it. I'll start 10 meters one side of it, because everything travels east, and go about maybe 30 meters east, and just to make sure I've covered any, kind of tidal pull. But generally, they're pretty much where they are. And it depends, though. It depends on how heavy the ring is. So I spoke to the guy who gave me the rum, that limited edition Kraken. He'd lost his ring quite far out in the sea, but on the highest tide. His ring was quite thick, and he was quite a big chap as well, so he's quite big fingers. So this ring was, I said, is the ring quite heavy then? He goes, yeah, it's heavy. I said, okay, well, was the sea rough or calm? He said it was quite calm. So I said, okay, well, the ring might then have just sunk into the sand. I said, but we don't know that, but there's a chance it could have done. And that's what happened to it. It sunk into the sand. So I scoured, obviously, a massive area, and about an hour and a half in at 4:50 in the morning, I'd found it, and I went absolutely mental. I always do. When I found him in the water at 3 o'clock in the morning, I just go crazy sometimes. I'll go, yay! It's quite funny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, it does depend, Steve, literally on the condition of the wave. So if the waves are breaking heavily when you do it, then you're kind of, it's going to get either pushed in then back out again. Or when you see the draw of all the stones getting taken back out again with the tide, when it's kind of a rough sea, then it could get sucked into that anywhere. So you've just got to wait for a calmer, a lower tide, and get back out there and just search a large area. So there's one example of one I did where this lady got battered by these breaking waves on Southbourne Beach a couple of years ago, and she got taken to A&E because she got cut on all the rocks and all the pebbles as she fell. So I went down there, and I managed. I was in the water, getting knocked about by the waves. Managed to find a wedding ring, which she didn't know about at the time. And then my Nox, the plastic cup arm broke, so I had to stop because I couldn't do that and hold it. It was just ridiculous. So I've got the metal one now for that.
Detective Innovations one. Yeah, brilliant.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and then so I when she was on her way home, she found out, and then she was in tears all the way home when she got let out of A&E and stuff, because she'd found out that I'd found the wedding ring. And her husband had died 6 months earlier, and they've been married 50 years, I think it was. So yeah,
I think we should call you Saint Darren. Saint Darren, Dave.
Well, weirdly, my middle name is Anthony, after Saint Anthony, who's the recoverer of lost items. I don't know how. It's just coincidence that's my middle name.
David Moore asks, while looking for someone's lost item, have you found anything old that you've kept, like an old coin?
I have actually. Weirdly, I've got it. I think I've got it here. So I was looking for stuff on the beach, which I found a pendant and just these things here. Ooh, where's my camera? But then when I was looking, I found those, but no owner. And then I found George the Fifth penny, half penny, which was I think was in this wallet, which I think is a lucky wallet.
Oh wow!
So I think it had in there. So I thought, why is that making a thing? And then it wasn't until I got home and I was checking it that I found there was this old coin in it. So that's a bit weird. And I found I've got some old some gold rings that I found. One of them's quite old, some really nice looking gold rings. That I've posted on Facebook trying to find the owners, like things like this.
It's mine.
Yours, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try and return anything that I find to people, but yeah, it's not always, because some of them, that ring there has probably been in the sea for about 5 years. So it's it's just a case of you got to do what you can to get them back.
Hi Darren, Maria here. When using the knots on the beach, do you struggle with it, or is that just me?
Struggle as in settings, or just the weight? I don't have any issues on the settings. I just stick it in either beach 1 or beach 2, and then I just sensitivity up or down depending on what I'm doing. But that doesn't generally need to change. I just get on and detect.
The Nox is very, very, very good on the beach, and when it came out,
it's very good.
Pretty revolutionary. Keith Ellis, it's not all showing. Oh yes, it is. Are you worried about all the poo the council pump into the sea? It will put me off going in. I'm in Bournemouth in 2 weeks' time. If I find anything, I'll PM you. Yeah, cool, he's got a point, especially on the news recently.
Yeah. A lot of that was over at Poole by Rockley Park, I think, as opposed to the actual Bournemouth beach. I think over at Avon Beach in Christchurch as well, there was a lot of that. But Bournemouth Beach generally is pretty clean. And, you know, generally where we're going to be searching, I don't think there's going to be that much of it anyway. But I think it's, I think Rockley Park had quite a bad outbreak of it.
Thanks for that. Dean McAvady. Have you found any Lego from the container that?
Can we just change that to Dean, who's your daddy instead?
Oh, Dean, Dean, who's your daddy? Yeah, that will be the new one
now. No, I've not found any Lego. No.
There's some very rare and expensive bits.
Thanks for all the questions. It's always nice to get some good questions, isn't it, Adrian?
Well, we've got Mr. Rob Random. Do you detect on any of the National Trust beaches down that way?
Yeah, so I've got a permit for Studland. You need a permit, so I've got a permit for Studland. Everyone knows that detects there also has a permit. You just go up to the National Trust office on Knoll Beach, and they'll give you a permit. But I get called now by the National Trust office when they get people losing stuff, because I'm a named recoverer down there with me and Richard Hyam as well.
That's interesting. Yeah. Thanks for that. Talking of, do you detect with other friends or people because you're part of a club? Or
yeah, to be honest with you, I probably do the most recoveries because more people know that I do it. So when I go out and I get requests, I'll get tagged a lot on Facebook. But there's John Rodwell who does them as well, so he's out now actually looking for something. And Aaron Arn, although I think he's gone into hibernation at the moment. But yeah, a couple of years ago, he was doing quite a lot of recoveries as well. But yeah, no, they do help as well. But I tend to go out because people contact me, then I like to go out and be able to help them. But I can't do them all, obviously. So I'll kind of hand off some that I haven't got time to do or can't do. Because we don't just cover Bournemouth and the local, we cover up to Lymington, New Milton, sometimes as far as Lyme Regis if we can. But if there's no one local, then I'll travel if I need to.
Well, Adrian, do you know what time it is?
I nearly messed up then. So when Dawn was on the show the other week, I actually showed what the thing was. And I won't do it this time. I promise I'll do it properly. I think Darren, does he know what this is? Adrian's Wall?
Do you know what Adrian's Wall is, Darren?
I don't know what you're going to do with it. I know what it is, yeah.
Right.
Not Adrian's Wall, no.
Adrian's Wall is basically a scratch and sniff No prizes tonight because we haven't spoke to them nice people at Dig or Wear or Composite Cleaning Pencil. But we pick individual numbers and you will get a picture, a bit like catchphrase appear. And when the picture appears, people will guess. All the numbers are coming in already. People are picking numbers and they'll probably be guessing any minute. I don't think tonight is going to be that easy, Adrian.
I think Philip Wills will get it.
If anyone, Nick Berry's around.
Oh no, is he?
Yeah.
Is he? I can. I wonder. I hope he's
well done.
He's very busy.
Eric got it last week, didn't he?
Yeah. Nick
So
Berry's probably busy sorting out trainers and underwear for the Rodney Cook Jumble that he's organising this year. So if anyone's got any old clothes, message him on Facebook and he will sort it out for the Rodney Cook Jumble sale. Right, have we got a number
Rag and
yet,
Bone Man, we call him now.
Yeah.
So, Darren, as the guest, you get to choose the first number.
Okay, let's go for 20.
Here we go.
No, it's not a holy nail. No, it's not a sword thingy. No, it's not a hand grenada. What's a hand grenada? Anyway, number 23. It's not an axe. It's not a shoehorn. Number 13. It's not a digger. It's not a boss. Number 11. It's not an axe knob. It's not a strap end. Number 19. It's not a juice
James
bar.
just messaged and said, stop timing him out because he's trying to do Adrian's wall.
It's not a sword bell end. It's not a woad grinder or a candle snuffer or a spoon or a medieval spoon or a letter opener or a shoehorn or a spoon or a hairbrush. Number 19. Oh, we've had it. Number 18. It's not a Roman stylus. It's not a fork. It's not an adze. It's not a saw. It's not a spandex stretcher. It's not a hammer. Darren, would you like to pick another number?
Let's go 26.
We have a close one. It's not a wax remover. It's not a Roman brooch. It's not a spearhead, a spoon, a shoehorn, a buckle, a back scratcher, a spoon, a wig curler, or a spearhead.
Dave,
Oh,
one of those was nearly right.
I know it was. I said we've got one that's nearly right. It's not a nail
I just need
cleaner.
to add a word.
Number 15. You need to add a word, somebody. It's not a duck drumstick. It's not a bell end. It's not a thingy-mabob. It's not a cheek cover. 14. It's not an ear cleaner. It's an ear scraper. Come on, you need to know to get the words right. It's not an oil scraper or a Roman ear cleaner or a bobby pin or Keith Richards' first guitar or a buckle clasp. Number 7, not an orange peeler or a Roman stylus or a toothbrush.
Are you sure someone hasn't said it?
Not the exact words, no.
Oh,
Number 7. A hearing aid, not a fibula brooch, not a toupee. 3 people have got it close up to now, but they haven't got it right. Metal thing, not an ear piercer.
They've got the
yes,
word
Philip,
right.
we are strict because we're like that. It's not a rectum cleaner.
Numbers, I'll do them.
It's not a hide scraper. I just press numbers, Adrian. Is it a medieval earwax cleaner, Adrian?
Yes. Who's that?
That's the Mercian metal detective. So 3 of you
again.
But you didn't say the word properly.
He did, didn't he?
He said it right.
Yeah. Medieval earwax cleaner.
And can you tell us about the medieval earwax remover, please, Adrian?
Well, basically, Dave, it's a band of copper alloy, approximately circular in cross-section and twisted along the length of its middle section. It's presumably for decorative purposes. It's then flattened at both ends, and the object has been silvered or tinned, and traces which survive. One end is complete and has been dished to form a tiny spoon bowl, probably for use as an ear scoop. Well, it is an ear scoop. The other end is flat and expands, but has been broken off, so its precise form cannot now be seen. It's quite common for these items to have a pointed nail cleaner. Fantastic. Thank you very much, and well done, Mercy and Metal Detecting. Nick Berry, please can you give a shout out about the Heart of England competition Frag is doing to help raise money for RCM? Okay, Nick. Yes. So we've done that, and Heart of England go on there and look at. I presume it's on Book of Faces. Go on there and help sort out some money for RCM. Talking of rallies, are you going to any this year, Darren?
Me? No, I don't. I've been to the Weekend Wonders one years ago, but I've not been to anything recently. I don't do any of the detecting. I literally don't have time. No. So I've just come back from holiday. I'm back on holiday again next week. From next weekend and then the following week, because I, like you, I had my aircon done on my car recently. It didn't work. Well, it worked. Went to Belgium, and it was just blowing out warm air. So I forgot to say. So I've got to have to get it looked at. But I won a holiday to Belgium.
You won a holiday to Belgium.
So we went last week. Me and my daughter are going again next. Well, stepdaughter going next Saturday, Sunday. Then we come back. Then me, Amanda, and the twins are going back to Belgium for a holiday that won as part of the Next Door. Do you know the Next Door app? Do you have that Next Door app? Yeah. So I won an award there, which came with a holiday. So I got Community Hero of the Year award, which is our national award. It's amazing. Comes with a 3-night holiday to Belgium with like a fairy tale theme park thing for the kids. So they're excited.
It's not a week in the Stella Artois factory. Never mind.
No.
I'd hate that. Oh
well, we have got a new and updated and improved spin the coil. So spin the coil, as you can see, Darren. Basically, I'll spin the coil and we'll ask you some random questions, some which you may as well answered in the conversation we've had already today. Otherwise, Adrian's gone.
I'll be back in a second. Sorry,
Spin
I've got to do something.
Coil. What was one of your weird childhood hobbies?
God. Weird childhood hobby.
Crochery. Netball.
I don't know. I always just liked playing football. I didn't really have any weird child. I'm quite normal. A bit boring, to be honest with you, in that respect. But yeah, just the usual kids growing up playing football.
Let's spin the coil again. The biggest mistake you've ever made. Adrian, these are a bit
detecting,
aren't they? Oh,
no, this is detecting.
Right, sorry. I thought you were on about, I don't know.
You detected for 4 hours with the machine turned off.
Yeah. No, I've done that for about a few minutes. That's definitely. But when I first started, I didn't really know anything about any rules about going out in parks and that kind of stuff. So I just phoned the local parks. Oh, can I kind of come and detect in your field? And, yeah, that's fine. That's the only reason why not. And I just went. And this was when I first got my Garrett, and I found my first coin, which was a threepenny bit in the field. And then obviously did more reading, and I was learning about detecting, and kind of came across the permission side of it. So it is a mistake. I mean, I don't do that now. Obviously, whenever I get any park searches, that you've got to phone the council and get permission off them, and they're either in a good mood or not.
I've detected on multiple occasions on a field with my settings still in beach mode.
Yeah,
I have actually. I've done that a few times. Still failed stuff.
Do you use a pinpointer?
Yeah. Yeah, of course it does on the beach.
Yeah.
What one do you
Garrett,
use? 9
the Garrett Carrot.
James, yeah, classic.
Whom is your favourite YouTuber?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't really follow anyone on YouTube. If I'm flicking through YouTube, I'll just watch some of the videos. But actually, there's one guy. Is it Oliver from Australia? Lost Wing Recovery. Lost Wing Recovery. There's Matty Germain as well from New Jersey. From Jersey's.
The Australian one, yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen him.
yeah.
He's huge.
I think the Dark Knight Detective's going to be a bit put out there.
Well, but he's on mine. Yeah, he's on my kind of Instagram channel as well. So that's where I watch most of his stuff. Yeah, it's good.
Last one.
Have you kissed Gary Cook?
Literally, it's just like a second hobby. No.
No.
I have.
These might be AI generated, I think. Chat GPT or something. Thanks for doing those, Darren. Luckily, they weren't too sensitive. One that didn't get asked, because you detect early in the morning, like 3 o'clock or late at night, what is your detecting snacks you take with you?
I used to take a flask of coffee, but then making that at 3 o'clock in the morning is not ideal. You've got the kettle going and stirring of your flask and stuff and pouring in the jug and pouring into a flask. So now I just take a bottle of water or put some juice in it and just take that and do that the night before, stick in my bag and just pick the bag up and go. So I try and make as little noise as possible when I go out, quietly shutting the doors. It's annoying because I've got to put my stuff in the boot, then my car doors going, then my engine's starting because my car's literally on the drive below the window. So to start making kind of coffee as well I don't do that now.
Maybe you should get like a little bell and tie it onto a cord, and it rings when your car pulls away. Snap the cord, and then they'll know you've gone.
Do you take like pork pies or Scotch eggs or sausage rolls?
I used to when I used to do digs on the farm stuff, but I don't have time to even stop and do that because I'm there just to do one thing.
And you'll get sand in your sandwich as well.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, I'm not there I'm there to have fun, but I'm not there to spend time. Just when it's a tide, you've got to get in there and out because when the tide's out, I kind of tend to start just before. I always go an hour before low tide just to make sure I follow the tide out for an hour because it comes in so quickly. You're out of time otherwise, and then it follows me back in again. So by the time I'm back up the beach again, it's almost catching me up. So you've got to work quite quickly.
Have you ever found any bones on the beach, animal or human?
No, I've never found any animal bones. No, I have in a field, but not. That's normal.
Can't remember what it was then.
No.
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 Oh, that's what I was going to ask. So, the metal detecting to the general community, people talk about the health and well-being benefits and the mindfulness and such like. Now, obviously, there's the health benefits on the beach, yourself doing what you're doing with the exercise. But what's it like? And again, the scenario where you do find something in the ecstatic, giving it to somebody, that sounded rude. You actually get the sense of well-being as well, the metal detecting, because obviously you've got all the positive ions that the sea's producing as well.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely love being out there. It's something that because you just literally you're kind of on your own. There's no noise and there's no screaming of kids. I just love hearing. You can look at the sky. You can see the moon. It's quite. The problem with it down there is though the light pollution is quite bad, so you don't actually get to see the pitch black sky, which is what I quite like. I love to see that. But you do get the moon. You can see some of the stars. You can see lights on the beach. It just looks really scenic, and it's just lovely being in there. Then you're hearing the waves, and it's just like as nice it is being down there, you do get their well-being. You're always a little bit on edge, thinking, who's watching me? So even though I've got a big bright head torch on, you've just got to have your wits about you as well, because you never know what's around the corner. But what I do love is the period between kind of dawn, I suppose, is when the sun starts to rise, you know, and then you kind of see the sun coming over the Isle of Wight, and then you kind of take your head torch off there, and you see people walking their dogs. That's a really nice feeling, knowing that you're now in daylight and it's still early in the morning, rather than being in pitch black the whole time. Because that's not it's not a nice feeling, but it can be quite nice just to get your head down if there's no one around.
And
yeah,
knowing obviously that you've beat the vampires again.
Exactly, yeah. And I've got my 10,000 steps sometimes before even 6 o'clock in the morning. So depending on how long I'm searching.
You must sleep well. I mean, you put
a
lot of steps in.
Say sleep well. I often go to bed at like 11 o'clock, and I'll be up at 3 o'clock. So this Sunday, I'm on the beach at 2:30 because the tide's at 3:11, I think it is, and I've got a ring to look for. So I'll be down there about 2:30. But I'll still go to bed about 10 or 11 probably. I don't need a lot of sleep. I can sleep a lot, but I don't have to.
No,
I'm so used to just getting out and about now.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Right, have we got any more? Oh, here we go. That's a very good question, Keith Ellis. Hi, Keith. Hope you're okay. Have you ever found something twice for anyone?
I have, yes. So a lady was gardening. She'd had a ring she bought with her daughter in Ireland 25 years ago. This was a couple of years ago. She'd lost it in a garden, and then a month later, she lost it again gardening. So I went back, and about 15 minutes in, I found it again for her. So next time, it's £1,000 an hour.
Well, just to make sure. Be a little bit more careful.
Yeah. So she said, I'm not going to wear it again. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. But yeah, no, she's lovely. She lives not too far away. But yeah, I've found something for someone twice. Yeah. To be honest, I see it as, for me, it's the first time. I don't care if anyone's lost something. I treat it as the first time. And I always say, if it's important to them, it's important to me. That's how I look at it. It could be something very cheap for a young kid. It could be an expensive item for, someone who's worked their life for it. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But for me, it makes a difference.
Yeah, well done. St. Darren Day from now on, I think. We're going to call Darren.
Hold on a minute. I've got something I need to put in. Right. Stephen Brame. I've been speaking to him. Sorry, I haven't responded, Stephen. I've done the article. I've just obviously been all at sea with my internet access. He's asked me, could we give a mention to his friend Catherine Rousseau, I think that's pronounced, from Discover Archaeology. All the work and research that enabled them to locate Nicholas's family that he found the medal of. Was obviously thanks to Catherine. We'd appreciate, as she didn't get any recognition from the ITV news report, and that was wrong of them. Yeah, no problem. I will do that, and I also will put that into the article as well that's going into Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. And we might even tap Darren up for a brief article as well with some of his images of his finds.
More an advert, isn't it?
And an advert to a degree for his ring recovery service in the south area that he's in Britain.
Fantastic.
But I'll speak to you that from this week at some point. Next day or so, Darren. Next week's show, we are joined by that lovely Mr. Nick West, who will be from the Military Heritage Museum and the War Relic Metal Detecting Facebook group, who will be joining us to discuss the launch of his new book, Adrian.
And I've seen a peek preview, and I will
peek
definitely
peek preview, not a sneak
peek
one.
Preview. Yeah, really good. We all love buttons, and we all find buttons. Do you actually, out of interest, just quickly, Darren, do you find any buttons on the beach?
No.
Be all plastic, aren't
No.
Primark are very good at stitching buttons because medieval times they weren't. And I just wondered. Yeah,
them small children in China that do Sheins must be fantastic.
Shein, doing very, very good button stitching. Yeah. Zips,
Right.
Yeah, I suppose Philip Wills. Right.
Darren, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you.
No, it's been great being on. Thank you for having me.
We obviously, what you're doing is fantastic. So full kudos from us and from the viewers tonight. And good luck with the future of recovery. And obviously, if ever you want to come back on the show and chat about any of your discoveries, anything like that, just give us a shout. More than welcome to join us at any time.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for all the questions, everyone, as well. Good to see you all.
Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work, Darren.
Cool.
Keep up.
Thank you very much.
Darren.
Cheers.
Top man.
Right, Adrian,
Bye-bye.
we will depart and we will see you all at the same time and the same place next week. Good night. Hi, Darren.
Good night, everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.